Welcome to Glasgow Cathedral. I welcome you here tonight to this significant place and this significant space. Upon this site since the 4th century, there has been a building that has been significant to the city of Glasgow. So therefore, wholly appropriate this evening that we would welcome the college and the students and the graduates to this particular evening of significance in their life. So welcome to all who are here. Equally, welcome to those who are joining us from abroad or those who are joining us online through the streaming facility that is available. No matter where you may be in the world, you too are in some mysterious way connected with us this evening here during this graduation ceremony. So you and those abroad are welcome. Can I remind folks, as I've just reminded myself, to make sure that your phone is switched off or at least in silent so that we don't get any interruptions as our service unfolds. But equally, if at any point we have to stop the service and there's an emergency, you will be guided to appropriate exits. So just stay vigilant and aware in response to those who are around you. Again, encouraged to wear your masks where appropriate and social distancing where again possible. So welcome to this special evening. Will you please be upstanding to receive our procession and platform group?
Special Guest of Honour Brian Johnson, CEO of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency, Chair and members of our College Board, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, graduates, and of course families and friends. My name is Sheila Lodge and I'm the Deputy Principal and Chief Operating Officer of City of Glasgow College. And it is my very great pleasure to welcome you to our 2021 summer graduation. And I would like to say how delighted I am that we are able to host a hybrid event today with so many people actually here in the resplendent setting of Glasgow Cathedral. I'm told this is only the Cathedral's second in-person event since the pandemic lockdowns began, so it's very special for us to be here. To all our graduates, whether here in Glasgow or participating remotely, I'd like to say that you and your families and friends should be very proud indeed of how you have overcome the unexpected and quite profound obstacles which the COVID-19 restrictions caused over the last 18 months. This context makes the qualifications for which you have worked so hard even more impressive. As is customary, this evening's ceremony commences with an address from our college's principal and chief executive, Paul Little. During the pandemic, we celebrated our 10th anniversary, and in that decade, Principal Little, our founding principal, has taken City of Glasgow College from a nascent institution to being a top-performing college in Scotland in further and higher education. As the Ambassador for World Skills in Scotland, he has overseen the creation of a World Skills Academy, and the college has enjoyed remarkable success in competitions, frequently achieving the #1 ranking in the UK. I know our students and staff will relish the chance to compete again as soon as these national, European, and global events can resume. Principal Little is a Fellow of the Royal Society of Edinburgh and a Fellow of the Nautical Institute, an honour bestowed in recognition of the substantial impact the college is having on maritime education and training. He is also a member of the Merchant Navy Training Board and the UK Chamber of Shipping, and he even has time to help steer Scotland's maritime strategy as a member of the Scottish Maritime Cluster. An avid seafarer himself, our principal has combined a distinguished career of over 30 years in tertiary education with a very practical voluntary role in both the UK and USA Coast Guard. Principal Little knows what it takes to be at sea, to serve, and to come home safely. Throughout his distinguished career, he has always advocated passionately for the merits of equalising access to education, the great enabler underpinning social mobility. Our principal adroitly articulates to government ministers, business leaders, and other key stakeholders that in seeking post-pandemic rejuvenation, colleges are best placed to be the driver of socio-economic recovery, delivering the appropriate upskilling and reskilling needed by people and organisations. His leadership continues to redefine tertiary education and rightly ensures that students remain the focal point of everything we do. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Principal and CEO, Paul Little.
Thank you, Deputy. Lord Provost, Mr. Chairman, Guest of Honour, Honour Fellows, members of our College Board, Commodore Anstey, distinguished guests, distinguished alumni, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, and especially our graduating class of 2021. I would like to add my personal welcome to each and every one of you gathered here this evening for our Maritime graduation, and indeed to those watching this ceremony live across the world virtually. As College Principal, I am delighted that our delayed summer graduation, normally taking place in June, is finally taking place and doing so in person once more. As you can see, we are taking all safe and sensible precautions. I will therefore congratulate you, not by my customary normal handshake, graduands, but by a ceremonial nod in this pandemic year. For let's all remember, ladies and gentlemen, that the pandemic is certainly not over. By my reckoning, we are probably just in the middle of this pandemic, but we are certainly nowhere near the end. We are, however, entering a new normal. We are entering a period where we're learning to live with COVID-19. We're learning to constantly adapt. We're learning to look out for each other. Graduates, I am particularly delighted to have as our guest of honour a distinguished VIP, Mr. Brian Johnson. Brian is the Chief Executive of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency, and I will more formally give you more details about Brian when I introduce him at the end of my address. But Brian is the Chief Executive of our esteemed national regulator for the British Merchant Navy. Brian is indeed an extremely busy man. So I personally, along with the college, are most fortunate to have him here this evening. Coming all the way up from his headquarters in Southampton to help celebrate the achievements of our graduating class of 2021. Brian, we strongly value your visionary and transformational leadership and your tenacious commitment to excellence, and we also find that true of your colleagues in the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency. Brian, I'm pleased to report that as you come here in Glasgow and indeed in Scotland, you will find the Scottish maritime sector is in great shape. In fact, it's flourishing. It's heartening, therefore, to see in the audience in front of me tonight many leading stakeholders from that Scottish maritime industry and indeed from the rest of the United Kingdom too. Together, we all make an important contribution to the illustrious seafaring history, both of Scotland and the United Kingdom. So it's therefore very fitting that we meet here tonight in the magnificent and the historic surroundings of this 12th century cathedral at the very heart of Glasgow. May I therefore extend a very personal and a very special greeting to your host tonight, the Reverend Mark Johnson, Minister of Glasgow Cathedral, who has been a sure and steadfast friend of our college for many years following his appointment. Brian, distinguished guests, you will be impressed, but probably not surprised to learn that we have representatives from around the world tonight at this naval graduation. Students, families and friends from Oman, India, Pakistan, and of course, closer to home from England, Wales, Ireland, north and south, and from all over Scotland, including Shetland in the far north. Now, I'm sure you will agree that our graduating class, normally in their smart uniforms, are looking even more resplendent in their colourful academic robes, as indeed are our talented and dedicated nautical faculty. Sitting before us are some 60 of our finest Merchant Navy cadet officers, navigation officers, engineering officers, officers of the watch, chief mates, and those studying electro-technology officers. So given the necessary COVID precautions, not all graduating officers are able to be with us this evening. Some are also currently at sea. However, I trust they are with us online for this ceremony as they're stream-lived to their vessels. You know, each of those graduands, and when you get the ceremonial nod, you become a graduate, will leave us and leave their adopted home port of Glasgow with fresh talent, with finely honed skills, with professionalism second to none, to command our UK and our international merchant navies. You know, many of these cadet officers are currently generously sponsored by our shipping partners. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this public opportunity to personally thank all those shipping companies and training providers for their ongoing trust and their valuable support. Tonight, it is especially pleasing to see representatives assembled tonight from Clyde Marine Training, from SSTG, from Chiltern, from V-Ships, from Carnival, from Princess Cruises, from the Royal Fleet Auxiliary, from Shell, from AW Croon, and indeed from Kuwait Oil Tanker Company. Similarly, I would like to pay tribute to our international partners joining us live across the web. Our international partner, Maritime, institutions each year send us cadet officers for advanced study. And we sincerely thank our partners in India, those in BP Marine, in Wales University, in the Academy of Maritime Education and Training, in Gamma Marine Training Institute, from Pakistan, from the Maritime Training Institute in Karachi, and from Oman, from Royal Yachts. Mr. Chairman, we have very valued shoreside partnerships now from the top 20 global shipping companies that work with City of Glasgow College. And indeed, we train here in Glasgow, ladies and gentlemen, almost half of all the Merchant Navy officers of the United Kingdom and most of the Merchant Navy rating apprentices. Indeed, only last week we held perhaps the first and only graduation ceremony for ratings anywhere in the United Kingdom. This was a very innovative virtual event in partnership with CalMac, where we had deck, engine and hospitality ratings, half on their ships graduating and half on shore. So we know this virtual graduation works. I also want to pay tribute tonight to the Dean of the Faculty of Maritime and STEM, Mark Stagg. And I also want to pay tribute to Mark's excellent faculty and support team. They play such a pivotal role to ensure that our graduands, soon-to-be graduates, get to the standard we need them to get to. You know, Brian, Glasgow is a city with a mighty seafaring heritage, with captains and chief engineers crisscrossing the Atlantic for well over 400 years. In the early days of global trade, in 1760, Glasgow was the UK's first and main port to service the original 13 colonies of North America. Ever since, Brian, the Merchant Navy lifeline has remained firm. Firm through the Atlantic convoys, firm through the Arctic convoys, and even firm through a global pandemic when City of Glasgow College had 247 Navy cadet officers at sea keeping Scotland and the UK supplies when most of us were safe at home. So class of 2021, you are entering a global industry as essential workers. And it's your duty now, and indeed your responsibility, to safeguard the transport to the UK of some 95% of all the food, the vaccines, the medicines, and all those supplies that come to our shores. Distinguished guests, Glasgow's world-class maritime status, and indeed Glasgow City's status, will be further enhanced, and our college as the foremost maritime college in the United Kingdom during COP26. Why? Well, the world's shipping industry will convene, not necessarily the SEC, but will convene at the City of Glasgow College's Riverside campus in the Maritime International Hub, where they will debate and discuss their response to climate action. And indeed, it's rather sobering to think that that global event, the biggest ever event to come to the United Kingdom, is barely 8 weeks away. So class of 2021, you're leaving us this evening. But you're leaving us not just as graduates. You're leaving us as City of Glasgow College graduates. And that means something. So stand tall when you leave here and board your ship, wherever that is in the world. You're part of a generation of young men and young women that have excelled and gone to sea. Ladies and gentlemen, I will also salute on stage tonight 8 exceptional officers who have surpassed even our extremely high standards, and they will receive additional awards. Now, these officers will include those that have gone above and beyond what we would normally expect even during these unprecedented times, to help their shipmates succeed. And in doing so, they have upheld the time-honoured traditions of the British Merchant Navy. Mums and dads, grandparents, friends and supporters, I think I have indicated that our graduating class has produced some outstanding efforts to graduate today. And I'd like you to join me just for this short moment in giving them a very loud round of applause, please. Brian, distinguished guests, we assemble here tonight to pay tribute to today's heroes. But tomorrow, on Merchant Navy Day, we will assemble again with the Lord Provost outside the city civic chambers, with its Merchant Navy Memorial, with our flags of honour to bear witness to the sacrifices of our hardy predecessors, who themselves stood tall across the lifeline convoys during both world wars and since. Now, we can be proud that at the City of Glasgow College we are continuing to honour the Merchant Navy, and we have done that for well over half a century, steadfast on the banks of the mighty River Clyde. And in those intervening 50 years, we have endured and we have evolved. And Brian, we will evolve again as we embrace the recommendations of your recent Maritime Skills Commission report. We will embrace the digital agenda. We will embrace the autonomous agenda. We will embrace the green agenda. And we will embrace the agenda for smart crews. The global shipping stakeholders in the audience and listening tonight, and indeed the Merchant Navy Training Board represented here, know that the City of Glasgow College has significantly invested in their sector. We've replaced the original Glasgow College of Nautical Studies with a 21st century world-class maritime college, home to 2,000 officers and 250 faculty. Described, ladies and gentlemen, by an ITN documentary as the Harvard of maritime colleges. And I know something about that. Brian, I hope you'll agree that the City of Glasgow College is very much pride of the fleet. Ambitious for its students, ambitious for the Merchant Navy, the standard bearer of the next generation of seafarers. Graduating class, I'd like to leave my final words to you. Your loved ones and your lecturers are rightly proud of your personal success. You have passed your course. You have made or exceeded the standard required. You have excelled in the most challenging of times. So as you leave us, you are ready. You are ready for command. You have the necessary knowledge, the necessary professional attitude, the transferable skills, the soft skills to transition seamlessly from ship to shore, from command to corporate, from leading a bridge team or an engineering team to leading a teaching team or a ship management team. Graduating class, I like to leave some words to linger. And I always like to impress my chairman to try and weave in a quote from a US president. Not President number 45, but President number 35, John F. Kennedy. Why John F. Kennedy? Well, John F. Kennedy was a young man in a hurry to change the world. And as President of the United States, he once said of young people, young people are the world's most valuable resource, and young people are the best hope for its future. He went on to say, change is the law of life, and those who only look to the past are certain to miss the future. So, graduating class, it's your future now. My personal hearty congratulations. Let Glasgow be proud of you. We've been proud of Merchant Marine for well over 400 years. Let's be proud of you in your career. And let the Merchant Navy flourish. Thank you. I'd like to introduce our guest of honour in a little bit more detail. Brian Johnson, Chief Executive of the Maritime Coast Guard Agency. I'm delighted and personally honoured to introduce Brian. Since 2018, Brian has been Chief Executive of this important agency. His role sees him responsible for the overall performance of an executive agency which provides 24-hour maritime and coastal search and rescue coordination and response for the whole of the United Kingdom. And let's think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Part of Brian's role includes HM Coast Guard that protects or guards some 11,000 miles of coastline. And in 2020 alone, they responded to 33,000 incidents. You begin to get some idea of the enormous weight on the shoulders of our guest of honour. But the MCA is more than that. The MCA, as an agency of the Department of Transport, is responsible for the legislation and the guidance on all UK maritime matters. And very important to our graduating class, the MCA is the maritime regulator issuing the Certificate of Competence, the Seafarer's Passport, a prerequisite to go to sea. So to say he's a busy man is indeed an understatement. So my thanks to Brian for clearing his diary to be with us this evening. Now, Brian, as I alluded to in my speech, also chaired a very important commission looking at maritime skills. Some of you in the audience contributed to that, and many of you know about it. And this was established alongside the Merchant Navy Training Board to ensure that we've got a pipeline of talent, of young and not so young, coming from all parts of the United Kingdom to serve in our shipping, our ports, our leisure, our marine, our engineering, our science, and our professional sectors. Graduands, Brian is himself a graduate of the world-renowned Cambridge University, where he studied for an honours degree in chemical engineering. You might wonder, well, what's that got to do with maritime? Well, he initially worked in ICI, and many of the parents in the audience know it was the premier British chemical company and also the largest manufacturing in the UK. In the early 90s, he was based in America, in the mighty state of Louisiana, where he led and commissioned the world's first industrial-scale plant making ozone-friendly refrigerants. He was indeed a man way ahead of his time. Now, after a short spell in Tate & Lyle, he joined Re-Employ as the operations director and then moved to the affording houseable sector, where he was chief executive for 3 more companies over 13 years, most recently Metropolitan. Now, during his time as a busy executive, he turned a range of companies around to become high-performing companies, increasing their annual profits, establishing building programs, and making a significant and a lasting improvement to the resilience of many sectors. Brian is also married with 2 daughters, and when he gets, whatever time he gets left, he enjoys sailing the Gaff cutter, which he built himself on the south coast in Solent. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me and give a very warm Glasgow welcome to our guest of honour, Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson, ladies and gentlemen.
My goodness, thank you, Paul. And you've almost made my career sound sensible. I'm glad you could make some sense of it. I struggle sometimes. It's my honour to be with you this evening. Glorious evening in Glasgow, and just amazing to see our seafaring officers of the future graduating here today. So this is absolutely my honour, and it's one of the more pleasurable parts of the job. I did realise actually driving up to the cathedral, I am actually a Scot, I just don't speak that way, and my parents were from Glasgow, and I realised driving up to the ceremony today, I had my tonsils out at the infirmary just next door about 50 years ago, so that was the last time I was close to this spot. I had a look at with Paul and his team at the college facilities today. It's absolutely fantastic. Really, really impressed, and I suspect you've had a great time learning and going through the course here. It really is outstanding. Big message today is many, many congratulations to all of you who are graduating. This is a tough course to get through, and you've all completed now the first stage of what I know will be a really rewarding career for you all. And as Paul said, I'm relatively new to shipping, so I'm sort of finding my way through it, coming from my heavy engineering background. But I have learned pretty quickly that it's a sector that's absolutely fascinating. It's what makes the world economies tick, and it's on the edge of some really exciting and challenging change. And you're all going to be part of that change. In fact, not just part of it, you're all going to be leading that change as it happens over the next decades. I guess this is the last audience I need to preach to about the importance of shipping. You all know that more than 90% of the world's trade takes place through shipping, a lot more than 90%. And who knows, maybe a combination of COVID and the slightly unfortunate events around the Suez Canal earlier this year have started to wake the general public up to the fact that getting goods here in the UK is not just a question of clicking a button on Amazon, that actually someone needs to do the work and make it all happen. You're all going to be part of that sector from here on in. And I guess in the day job, as ship's officers, and I know that many of you present will become very competent ship's masters, you will the ones be setting the tone, the culture, the standards on board the ships on which you serve. Everyone else will look up to you, and they'll look at how you exercise that leadership, and they'll copy it themselves. They might be looking at whether you have to point to your stripes a lot, or whether you work hard to gain respect and trust. They might look at whether you feel you need to have all the answers, or whether you're comfortable with using all the skills and knowledge that surrounds you and others on board. How you respond to the challenges and issues, whether you blame or whether you create a culture of learning on board. There are real opportunities to distinguish yourselves in how you work as leaders. And for you particularly, on top of all of that, there is this massive change agenda. Over the coming decades, technology change in shipping will be faster than ever before, and you'll be at the cutting edge of introducing and managing that change. It'll stretch you technically, but it will also stretch you again in your leadership skills, because managing change is never easy. And I think for you, this is what's going to make these jobs that you're coming into so amazing. So what is it that's driving all of that change over the next few years that I keep talking about? Well, decarbonisation. You know, climate change has gone beyond just being a theoretical possibility. It's happening. People are experiencing it. And we're already seeing the mood music change about it. So I think as that reality dawns home to people, the timescales over which we've got to react will become shorter and shorter. They certainly won't be stretching out. The world will probably become even more reliant on shipping because it is such an efficient way of moving things around. We're going to be looking at how we optimise shipping more in the future. Likelihood is we're going to have a northwest channel opening up across the Arctic. We're going to have to think about how we use that. You're going to be there as retrofitted technologies happen on board ships, air lubrication or wind assistance, whatever they are, to improve efficiency. You're going to be there as intermediate fuels are introduced. Liquefied natural gas is current favourite, methanol is being talked about. You're going to be still on board ships as the final decarbonised fuels are introduced. Choices there to being talked about are hydrogen and ammonia. And I promise you, at least that's something I do know about. I may not know so much about shipping, but those are a different world to deal with compared with heavy fuel oil. So you're going to be at the vanguard of managing that change in. I have to say I'm really envious, actually. It's just going to be such an interesting time. There's automation technology. The shape of what you do on board and what's done through automation will change. What's done on shore will change. And glimpsing some of the things that have happened in aviation over the last few decades may give you some indication of where shipping might be going over the next few decades. And interestingly, as that automation gets bigger and bigger, so the interface between people and technology becomes more and more important and harder to manage. You've all experienced life at sea. You know of the periods of apprehension, the difficult, unexpected situations you'll need to deal with, sometimes boredom, often the constant challenge of getting the best out of others. As Paul said, I did a vocational qualification a million years ago, but there were things that I didn't learn in my career maybe until later, and I hoped I might be able to just offer a couple of bits of learning, one very recent and one that happened a few years ago. But the recent piece of learning first. You've gone through some tremendous education at City of Glasgow College, and as you spend your time on board ships, you'll build the judgment as you put that learning into practice. You'll grow your technical skills that you've learned here, and all of that's going to happen as night follows day. What I never figured out until 10, maybe 15 years ago, though, was that what really made the difference was not what you knew personally, but how you could make use of the skills of those around you. How you could give them confidence to do things they wouldn't think they could do. How you can make use of what they knew and help them to develop that knowledge. So, my first piece of advice is I'd encourage you to become people watchers, to reflect on how your leadership has impacted on those you are leading and on your colleagues. Try different approaches. Reflect, learn, be humble, always do what's right. If you have to point to your stripes too often, reflect on what you could have done differently. Become great leaders. STCW standards that we're custodians of in the UK set great technical standards, and these are really important. What they don't currently do, and it's part of the changes that Paul alluded to, is set the same bar on leadership capability, and that's what you've a chance to really grow over the next few years as you spend time at sea. Second piece of advice is more straightforward, actually, and it happened after my time at college, so after I graduated, but it was very early in my working career. And I was walking around a big humming chemical plant with my first boss, a guy who I have huge respect for, still keep in touch with. And he said to me, you get the standards you walk past. And it stuck with me really strongly. And it's kind of obvious that it applies to engineering, to operations, to housekeeping. And I'm sure it's something you've heard of before. Again, what didn't click in my mind until much, much later was it applies to behaviours as well. And it's part of that whole leadership package I alluded to earlier. So, to sum up, as you go out there and start this amazing career, please never be concerned to ask questions, to be humble, always do the right thing, respect everyone you work with. Last but not least, do remember that there is the MSA to call on, even if you don't work on a UK flagged vessel. We are there for you. I'm so excited for you all. You're just about to enter a career that will be an adventure and a vocation in a sector that makes our society work, and you're going to lead that sector that you love through the most challenging change that it's been through in 2 centuries since it moved from sail to steam. Well done to you all. You've a great deal to feel proud of, and you've such exciting careers in front of you. Best of luck.
Many thanks for your very insightful words, Mr. Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, we are fast approaching the presentation of awards. So I now invite Principal Little to come to the front of the stage to recognise the graduands with a nod, and Mr. Mark Stagg, Dean of our Faculty of Nautical Sciences and STEM, to come forward to announce our 2021 graduands.
Principal. As Dean of Faculty, I have great pleasure in presenting to you the remarkable 249 nautical graduates for 2021. Whilst many attend virtually, we celebrate their success. They have truly triumphed against adversity. Higher National Certificate Marine Engineering, Ahmad Al-Tayab, Declan Rees-Berry, John Blackburn, Declan Brown, Stuart Cameron, Michael Carson, Ewan Crawford, Connor Leigh Gregg, Ryan Jenkinson, Anthony McInnes, Rory McIntyre, Daniel Lewis MacLeod, Thomas Robert McMeekin, Thomas Martin O'Brien Barden, Jack Oliver, Luke Rayner, Josh Shanks, Fraser Alexander Stewart, Sean Tipping, Liam Vaughan, Higher National Diploma Marine Engineering, Jamie Anderson, Sean Ballantyne, Dean Brolly, Matthew Robert Combe, Ryan James Davidson, Jacob Oliver Dobson, Jason Hall, Mark Harvey, Alex Jones, Megan MacDonald, Andrew McGregor, Philip James Maguire. Connor Neeson. Jamie Porchetta. Ryan Richards. Nicholas Taylor. Higher National Diploma, Marine Engineering, Ishan Apte. Arman Bardwaj. Jitesh Gaikwad. Seymour Gomez. Rashikesh Indore. Umar Zubair Khan. Ame Vilas Mantri. Richardson Nadar. Kuram Shahzad. Abu Zed Sheikh. Vishal Singh. Rutuj Tajay. Professional Development Award, Marine Management, Marine Engineering. Ahmed Al-Ansari. Sebastian Allen. Stephen Barrett. Oliver Booth. Kyle Ian James Cameron. Matthew Davey. Alexander James Holbrook. Daniel Hosey. Casey Lee Laver. Charlie Mackenzie. Peter Muir. William Nell. Stephen Robinson. Adam Savage. James Spanner. Dean Stevenson. Henry Taylor. Adam Lee Thornton. Tyree Withers. Jacob Wallington. Louis Young. Struan Agnew. Ahmed Humed Hamdan Al-Haniai. Kalan Suleiman Nasser Saif Al-Yaribi. Duncan Gordon Blanford. Ross Richard Boyd. Aaron Cameron. Liam Fitchett. Craig Hardman. Sam Jarvie. Kieran Lakin. Luke Guy Gordon Lavelle. Cameron John MacLeod. Callum McAnulty. Thomas Moore. Andrew Robertson. Thomas Herbert Smith. Stephen James Crompton Spencer. Declan Wilson. Higher National Diploma Marine Electrotechnology. Rodolfo Augusto dos Santos Pereira. Jake Anthony Downey. Dean John James Harron. Andrew James Labour. Stuart McAleese. Rhys Meakin. Jack Petrie. Nicky John Ruff. Stephen Teal. Joseph Woolnough. Higher National Certificate, Nautical Science. Kieran Bain. Joseph Campbell Pedrana. Sarah Louise Doherty. Innes James Ferguson. Marcus Alexander Horn. Stuart MacLeod. Matus Malzeski. Harvey Martin. Fraser Mitchell. Ross Michael Nathaniel. Jack Fife. Ewan David Maitland. Gregor McFadgen. Lee Rogers. Cameron Say. Portia Taylor Mountford. Fraser Wall. Higher National Diploma Nautical Science. Kavin Ayundarai. Karan Singh Baduria. Norton Carvalho. Lennon Diniz. Abdul Basit Jamada. Aditya Kavir. Darshan Katara. Nishan Kare. Omkar Murray. Faizan Mullah. Aniket Patil. Dylan Pinto. Mark Alec Pinto. Gautam Raj Purahit. Macbon Rodriguez. Kaushal Sant. Aditya Saran. Abhilash Sekar. Vikas Sharma. Shlok Singh. Preet Tandel. Aditya Vedya. Prashant Vambukani. Deepak Kumar Varathajan. Higher National Diploma Nautical Science. Melford Raymond Ajay. Noble Chande Alex. Mohammed Ashik Amanullah. Pratana Samir Gaikwad. Akash Martin. Evangel Okoli. Lokesh Sak Thivel. Genesis Samuel Vijay Kumar. Swapnil Sareen. Pratam Sharma. Jaspreet Singh. Kushaga Thakur. Sundara Pandian Thangapan. Zahir Majid Zahir Al-Ghafri. Yaqub Said Abdullah Al-Shukaili. Blair Dickinson. Harry Andrew Dobson. Oscar Gleave. Lisa Hunter. Helen Catherine MacDonald. Andrew MacDonald. Max McFarlane. Lewis James McNeil. Kenneth Alexander Moore. Alexander Arthur Morrison. James Omani. Thomas Andre Oza. Katie Robinson. Owen Greg Ross. Ardush Shahjan. Hamid Salim Ali Waldwadi. Philip Wilkinson. Daniel Woodward. Officer of the Watch, including Higher National Certificate Nautical Science, Raj Kalmahakir Apandya. Miklos Serey. Jebin Sirak. Rohan Sudhir Gavathe. Jithin George. Armea Iqbal Khan. Don Basco Kulundai. Simranjit Singh Luthra. Mohit Makar. Asia Shukat Mukadam. Mr. Navraj. Deepak Patania. Himanshu Singh Rawat. Mukesh Sharma. Ravish Naresh Sharma, Robindeep Singh, Manik Tyagi, Anil Kumar Yadav, Chief Mate Master, including Higher National Diploma Nautical Science, Ahmad Ahmed Mohammed Al-Eze, Callum Craig Campbell, Mark Dyke, Zachary Idris, Darryl Lackey, Kevin Lennon, James Ruri Lunan, Ian Alexander McKinnon, Luke Perrett, Andrew Riddell, David Solit, Abdul Ghani Abu Khalaf, Jack Brundle, Gary MacDonald, Mark MacLeod, Ewan McMillan, Angus Alexander Reid, John Arthur Robertson, Mohammed Zabed Mahmoud Sabuj, Chief Mate Master, including Higher National Diploma Nautical Science, Elroy Nazareth Sebastian Afonso, Rahul Bajia, Nivishka Bhaskaran, Sega Anasheb Shavan, Taushif Nuruddin Chilwan, Sandeep D'Souza, Avinash Dias, Dwayne Gonzalez, Vivek Manyam Ananda Naidu, Amit Kumar Mehta, Aditya Parikh, Rahul Sudhakar Sabni, Pavan Kumar Singh, Deepak Kumar Jagubai Tandel, Abhishek Achagi, Inderpreet Singh Majit Singh Bhobal, Prafula Deepak Chavan, Vikrant Sanjay Deshpande, Aldan D'Souza, Mohammed Kaleem, Anupam Kumar Kha, Shariki Ibrahim Yusuf Khan, Amol Mohan Kot, Ame Vindalas Kundeka, Vinith Nair, Samaresh Pal, Prabhavesh Panakal, Alistair Pereira. Puneet Kumar Sharma. Sunil Shawale. Amar Singh. Vikas Kumar Tiwari. Thank you, Principal.
Thank you, Principal Little and Mr. Stagg, and many congratulations to all this evening's graduates. We now have the College Awards to present. As you know, some of our 8 prize winners are unable to be here in person to receive their awards, but we hope that they have been able to join us virtually for the ceremony. I now invite Mr. Johnson to step forward once again to present the college prizes. The award for the Best Practical Marine Engineer goes to Henry Taylor, employed by SSTG. Henry joined the college as a pre-cadet, and it's amazing to see how much he has achieved during these last 4 years. He's worked extremely hard, and his passion for marine engineering can be seen in his positive attitude in both his academic and his practical classes. Henry has always maintained a high standard of work during his cadetship, particularly in the workshop, and we believe he possesses the necessary skill set to be a high-quality marine engineer on board. The Best Progress Award in Engineering goes to Andrew Robertson, employed by Shell. Andrew has worked extremely hard during his time at college, from joining the course as a pre-cadet to graduating as a qualified engineering officer of the watch with Shell. A dedicated student who is very highly regarded by all our staff, he has always maintained a very high standard of respect and address whilst at the college. Andrew's dedication and positive attitude to his studies will see him do well in his future career as an engineering officer. The Best Progress Award in Nautical Science goes to Simranjit Singh Luthra from Amet University. Simranjit has performed exceptionally well, not only on the academic front, but also in helping and guiding his classmates during the very challenging conditions of the COVID-19 lockdown. He has displayed exceptional qualities in team building among the students and maintaining a positive classroom environment in blended learning and teaching sessions. The winner of the Faculty Recognition Award in Engineering is Tyree Withers, employed by Chiltern. Tyree has been an exceptional student throughout her entire cadetship. She has always performed to an excellent standard. Her passion for the maritime industry and her motivation to succeed have made her an extremely diligent student. Her resilience and determination will make her an excellent marine engineering officer, and she will no doubt have a prosperous and flourishing career within the maritime sector. The Faculty Recognition Award in Nautical Science goes to Prana Tsumir Gikwad. Pratana has been a role model to many young women who are aspiring to take up a career in the Merchant Navy. She has always had a very positive attitude towards the challenges faced day to day while out at sea. She has tremendous leadership qualities and has been at the forefront in providing help and guidance to her classmates. The Salveson Trust Prize is awarded to Matthew Davey, employed by Chiltern. Matthew has achieved fantastic results throughout his 3-year engineering cadetship. As well as obtaining his qualification, he has also demonstrated exceptional communication and leadership qualities in supporting and motivating his peers. Andrew's dedication and positive attitude to his studies will see him do well in his future career as an engineering officer. Indeed, Matthew already has a post on board and is currently at sea, but he sends good wishes to all his fellow classmates. Thank you very much for presenting the college prizes, Mr. Johnson. And before you take your seat, I invite Principal Little to present you with a token of our appreciation for being our special guest of honour at tonight's ceremony. I now invite our distinguished guest, Mr. Mike Bullock, Chief Executive of the Northern Lighthouse Board, to present both of our Northern Lighthouse Board prizes. The Northern Lighthouse Board Prize for Engineering Cadet of the Year goes to Dean Harron, employed by Clyde Marine Training. The first electrical technical officer to win this prize, Dean has shown his ability and passion for engineering throughout his cadetship. He's always been focused and flourished during his time at college. We know that he will be a very successful ETO on board. The winner of the Northern Lighthouse Board Prize for Dec Cadet of the Year is Kieran Bain, again employed by Clyde Marine Training. Kieran has been an exemplary student. He volunteers and takes responsibility for tasks that would not normally be required of him and delivers to a very high professional standard. His pleasant persona and people skills, even during tough times, have always been inspirational for others, and he possesses a high level of officer-style qualities. Many thanks for presenting the NLB prizes, Mr. Bullock. Thank you, Principal, and our thanks again to our guests for presenting the prizes this evening. We are extremely grateful for your continued support for the college and for our students. Ladies and gentlemen, will you now please welcome Mr. Alistair Bowen, Chair of our college's Board of Management, to deliver the ceremony's closing remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Lodge. My Lord Provost, Mr. Johnson, Special Guest of Honour, Principal, members of the College Board, one of our fellows, our distinguished guests, ladies, gentlemen, and most importantly, all of you, our graduates, and your family and friends, and those loved ones. It's a real honour for me to deliver the closing remarks of this summer graduation ceremony. And it's simply terrific, and I mean simply terrific, that so many of you have been able to attend in person in the splendour of Glasgow Cathedral, around which this great city has grown. Others further afield, and there are those watching virtually from across the world, with some of today's graduates at sea as we speak. Congratulations to all of our graduates on their magnificent achievements. It's been touched on earlier. However, the unparalleled challenges of the necessity but strict COVID-19 restrictions make your accomplishments all the more impressive. You've prevailed at a time of crisis and have overcome adversity with your flexibility and determination. And for that, I applaud you. You've worked hard and dedicated yourselves to achieving your degrees, diplomas, and certificates. They represent milestones in your life. And now, equipped with your qualifications, you're embarking on an exciting new journey. On behalf of my colleagues and the Board of Management, I express our delight for you and say we are extremely proud of each and every one of you. This is a day of celebration and joy brought about by your commitment, endurance, and capability. We wish you every success in your chosen career or further studies. Undoubtedly, you will owe gratitude to your family, friends, and partners, many of whom are able to enjoy proceedings here today, for the support and counsel they've provided during your studies. A huge debt of thanks also go to the City of Glasgow College lecturing and support staff for their professionalism, guidance, and advice during your time at college. And I convey deep personal appreciation for our outstanding principal, Mr. Little, and his team, who have worked so diligently to create such a positive and inspirational environment in which to study and truly let learning flourish. But graduates, and now my fellow City of Glasgow College alumni, and believe it or not, I am one of you, you are the focal point of this ceremony. Today is your special day, and one which you can always remember with great pride. As you embark on your new chapter, let there be no constriction to your ambition. Believe in yourselves, in your talent, and find confidence in the new aptitudes you've acquired at this world-class college. Aspire to be the best version of yourselves, and you can realize your dreams. In the Glasgow vernacular, and some of you may have to go and find out what it means, be gallus. But always remember to help your colleagues, because what you will have discovered in our twin site super campus is that teamwork and genuinely cooperative approaches allow you to achieve greatness, absolutely anything you want. Principal Little talked about the future of tertiary education, and he co-authored the Cumberford Little Report with the principal of Edinburgh College, which was published before the pandemic threatened to engulf us. Many of the innovative, substantial recommendations have subsequently been endorsed by the Scottish Funding Council. And their report into the coherent provision and sustainability of tertiary sector, including endorsements for lifelong learning, or lifetime learning, as Principal Little so often prefers. Education is a lifetime process and certainly does not stop today at your graduation. Whether you're moving on to further study, beginning your work career, or a combination of both, be mindful. Be mindful that by remaining open to learning, new things, you can and will succeed. As you've heard, the principal spends a great deal of time looking up quotes. So I'm going to end with a quote from a truly inspirational role model who sadly is no longer with us. United States Supreme Court Associate Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who remained active until her death last year at the ripe old age of 87, was asked how she would like to be remembered, and replied very quietly and simply, as someone who used whatever talent she had to do her work to the very best of her ability, to do something outside herself. A great thought. It's as apposite today and even more poignant in the light of her recent passing. Please remember that wherever your respective paths take you, you'll always be welcomed warmly back at the City of Glasgow College as one of our alumni. Graduates, it's been my privilege to address you. Now please go forth and enjoy your well-deserved celebrations later on this evening. Congratulations.
Many thanks for those sage words of encouragement for our graduates, Mr. Barron. And congratulations once again to all our graduates, and good luck to you all. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our proceedings for this evening. If I could please ask you all to remain in your place until you're directed to leave. And in closing our 2021 graduation ceremony, could the audience please now be upstanding for the stage party to proceed out of the cathedral? Thank you.